Hello, Sarah here. How are you guys? So I got shut off. I'm a cheerleader for the Divine if you don't know me. Cheers. I got shut off from my a video the other day and we were talking about love wounds. My phone died, all kind of stuff. I got busy, right? And so today I was working out some stuff and doing all kind of stuff and the love wounding came up again some more, right? And I was talking to this great girl, and she's like, "Well, what do you do like when you're in your love wounds?" And I'm like, "Girl, so I try to do everything with like the chakras. So I try to flush my body with green when I'm in love wounds, right? It's crazy because like it's whole health. It's not, uh, you know, per, it's not like there's a physical thing with my heart. It's energetic love wounding, right? And so we don't really know the specifics about it all the time. But what I do know from the things that I've learned is that, like, love wounding is in the heart, which is the green, and it needs pure green, alive food to feel really good. And so that's what I do. If you don't do that, I love you. Like, I love however you do it, but one of the big ways that I deal with my love wounds is pumping my body with the best food that I can pump myself with, right? And so, guys, I don't want you to get stuck. So, hello, love. When I left on my last video, I was talking about words I don't like. And it's funny because like, I write down my videos. And I went off and I did all kind of different things. And then today I was talking to a girlfriend of mine and I was talking about two other words that I really don't like, right? And so I'm learning that we speak our lives into existence. And so, in my friendships and stuff, like that's been coming up a lot. Like when we're talking to one another, is like the way that we're wording things, like what we're going through and the way that we're wording it forward, that's what's creating, right? And so, even like knowing that you're the creator of your experience when you bring this up, you're like, oh, yes. So, like, I'm creating my future by the words that I'm saying in my now. And sometimes if you're in your now and your now is your love wounding and you're saying all kind of things that you don't mean from that wounding, you're creating more of that where if you can like kind of be still and like, that's what my superfoods are for. They help me to like connect on the inside to my own self, to my own personal love wounding. Like, and guys, we all go through it, and there's so many different areas in your life to be wounded in love. Um, and then, so words we don't like, words we don't like. Does anybody have words they don't like? Tell me, who's on here with me? Do you guys have words you don't like? I'm learning, light worker is one of the words I don't like, when everybody's trying to like categorize you into like what is it? Like what box do you fit in? We're coming out of the boxes and people are still trying to put me in a box. Light worker. I never really liked light worker because I'm like, I don't know, like I felt like my life had been like dark. I felt like the things that I had gone through and experienced have been very dark. And so, what do I look like calling myself a light worker? And then is light worker like superior? Like, do I feel like I'm superior to someone else because of the work that I do? Those are the things that I get from that. So, like, I've done a lot of work with a lot of people along the way. They're like, how would you explain yourself? And I don't like that part. And they're like, well, definitely light worker. And I'm like, I don't like that, right? And another big word that came up for me today that I really didn't like was witch, right? So here we're coming into October, fall, scary, spooky season, right? And I was talking to a great friend of mine a while back, and we were talking about the word witch, and she's like, well, it's not really a bad term, this and that and the other. And I'm like, I know, but like when people say it to you, they don't mean like, oh, she's a witch, she's so cool, and like, like the things that she loves, like you can feel the love from it, right? No, when they're calling you a witch like this, it's like somebody who has that same energy of somebody who is coming out here calling people names, saying things, right? And so I guess all of these words that I was saying that I really didn't like and how powerful that they were, they're good to know. The words are good to know. Just really start to focus on how you're speaking about your love wounds, how you're interacting about your love wounds. Like when you call your friends about your love wounds, how are you approaching the situation? Because like your same one friend could answer two different ways. Like if you come at her like, girl, I just went through so much, this guy just dogged me out, all this stuff is so bad, oh my god, you'll never believe it, I didn't deserve it, she got your back, right? Or you could come to her and be like, look, like I did this stuff and like I feel like I fucked up and I'm not really sure and I don't really know, and that could be like a whole different conversation. You could have the same with two people depending on your energy coming into the conversation. Labels in general aren't comfortable for me. Yeah, me neither, girl. I really have a hard time with them. I'm working on it though. Like I'm noticing that it's like each one or like a couple different ones, like, it's like the same. I guess it's all the energy behind it because like I've met some really great people that, consider themselves light workers and whatnot, and they're great, It's just when certain people say these certain things, they're saying it from like a superiority spot. Hi, love. So, one thing that I know though is like all of these words that I don't like, they are like a way to blame others for the hardships that we are having. Right? And so like normally when somebody's coming to you and saying, well, I'm an empath. Well, okay, yeah, we all are. That's how I was trained. Like, yeah, everybody is. But what they're trying to tell you is like that this situation that they're going through, the empathy is like that they can feel that other person's stuff. But the reality is that you're only feeling that because that's part of your path. You're only feeling that thing because that's part of your journey, right? And so guys, we can't blame the person. It's an energy. So any kind of I love my friends. I seriously love my friends. So I was talking to one of my girlfriends today, and we were like talking about like intentional and unintentional thoughts being thrown at you. Does that make sense? So like whether someone's intentionally thinking of you and throwing something at you, or unintentionally thinking of you and throwing something at you, either way, those energies can come at you, right? And knowing that nobody can really do anything to you that you don't give them the power of, like knowing that victim mentality is like a slice of what can happen. Guys, we're cleaning this stuff up. We're cleaning up blaming other people for our things in our lives. Like I just went through a whole bunch of stuff and I could like pick out 5 different people of why it was there, whatever. But every one that happened to me, I took it in. I took full responsibility in that place. I sorted out what was mine and what wasn't. And the things that weren't, I double checked them in my pile just to try to make sure. And I don't even really know, if I got it right. But when you're working on love wounds, you don't know really if you get it right until, like, you always have like these weird places where it's like you're manifesting and you know that you're manifesting, and then you hit this place where a bunch of like lessons come up and wounding comes up for you, and then you kind of feel like you haven't been doing what you should be doing, and then you go through this whole big thing. But when you're cleaning up your love wounds and when you're stuck in a love wound, and when a love wound is happening for you or coming into your life, one of the greatest things you could do is tune into you and tune into your heart. My green drink helps me to tune into my heart's desires. And so, it just does. Like, I'm at a whole different level now with it all. It's a whole, I don't know, you have to train yourself to work on your love wounds. It's not something like that you can just get a session for. I mean, sessions help and people help, but like love wounds run deep, guys. And so they're it's the stuff that like you're going through in real life with your person, and then your kids are also reflecting that, and then your job is also reflecting that, and then you're meeting strangers and they're reflecting that. But the whole thing is that none of that really matters, right? Like, no one can show you how to get to your heart's desires, but everyone shows you how to get to your heart's desires. Like, every interaction that you have and every person that you meet is helping you to get into your heart's desires. We just have these conditions that we put on what we think is love and what we think is evil, right? We put those conditions in there. And so when we can stop blaming folks, and when we can clean up our own shit, and we can see that it's not really up to anyone else, it's just up to us to take what we collectively have been through, to what we're going through in our now moments, and really pick out what we can deal with and what we can't deal with, and get really real with ourselves. Like in my love wounding and in my, time with my heart, I've had to get really real with myself about a lot of things. I mean, think of 5 things that are in your life right now, and then can you think of 10 more, and then can you think of 15 more? There's so much. And you can stay in the love wound. I think I said this in the last video. You can stay in the love wound for as long as you want. I've been talking to a lot of people about love wounds, and that's what has me out here talking to you guys about love wounds, and I feel them too. We got to really feel through the love wound. We can't just touch on the love wound and keep it moving, but we got to just touch on the love wound and keep it moving sometimes too, because we get stuck in that wounding. So that's why I say to feel it through. And so if you need to take breaks from feeling it through, then by all means, take breaks. Just make sure that you're learning from it and getting into your heart closer and closer. Like, when you're working on your love wounds, it's not, you don't get to a healing place just cutting that out of your life. Sometimes you need to for quite some time. But anything that you cut out is just going to come back in another reflection, in a different reflection. It's not, it's not anything bad towards you. It is to teach you like where you're not trusting your heart and where you're not following your heart. So one thing that I do with Always Think Up and my friends and everything is, what are your yeses? Like, if you're going through love wounds and you're going through all these things, what are the things that make you feel like, yes, right? Because as you visit these love wounds and as you go through these things in your love wounds, you have to be the one that brings you back to a thought of something that you just feel it and you feel like, yes, right? I'm trying to just speak to you guys like in energy terms, and that feeling when you're just like, yes, whatever it is, it could be the dumbest thing. And so, guys, it took me months and years. I work on different things all the time. And, these lessons, these love wounds, they come in many forms. So, I've had the same love wound lesson in many people, right? And so, like, you look back and you're like, okay, how could I really even blame one person whenever the only common denominator of all these things is me? That's a hard place, right? It's the same energy. So the energy that you deal with, it feels like it's bumping up against you, that it feels like it hurts. You know, that's it. That's a love wound, right? And it could seem so different, this from that, from this from that, but if you really do get in it and get into the heart of it, a lot of it stems from the same exact place. And so self-awareness and self-accountability. Yes. Yeah, and like, you can't, when you're blaming someone else, it's like, you're not internalizing that. The universe sent that person to you to show you something that you weren't becoming aware of, that you weren't paying attention to. Like, I mean, I just wrote a post today, guys, about it's National Coffee Day. Happy National Coffee Day, right? I've been addicted to coffee for a long time. I used to drink alcohol, then I quit drinking alcohol. I started drinking coffee. That was like my thing, and then I went through all kind of things with that, right? But I was a really big coffee lover. I could drink it all day, all night, whatever, go right to sleep. And I have been trying so hard to alkalize my body. So I've been trying to alkalize my body for like, I don't know, 15 years or something, right? And for 15 years straight, I could drink fucking 11 pots of coffee if you wanted to, right? And not realizing like why, like, I would feel like good, but then like still the same kind of, I guess you'd say, right? Because not bad. But so today, like, it just hit me. I'm like, I've quit so many, and always think up and changing my mind and making these changes in my life. I didn't even blink my eye when I quit drinking alcohol. Like, it was like no thing to me. I just picked up my coffee and was like good with it, right? And so I was like, okay, so, maybe I need another like go to help me in this process. And so as I'm sitting here talking to my girlfriend today about it, I had a cup of coffee, right? Because I like to drink a cup of black coffee and I like to work out and then stretch my body, whatever. Okay, so she caught me like right at that time. And so I dumped my coffee out, and instead I drank some beet juice and I sat and talked to her while I let that kick in. And then that's how I did my thing. And it felt so much better. Like, normally when I'm drinking like my black coffee, like I'll get to a part in my body and like I'll have like a cramp, and like this one was different. I had it all the way through. And so, you guys could say, like, this is so silly to talk about like the coffee, but like part of healing these love wounds that we have in us is changing things that are really big for us. And so to all of you, maybe coffee isn't a big deal, but like coffee was my main man. Like coffee was my homie. Coffee was my best friend. Coffee was with me when I work, got me to work, took me home from work, all kind of things. There for me whenever I was sad. I mean, it was like a big deal. And so, to let go of that, like to be at a place where like I'm ready to let go of that, and then I hear the message loud and clear, and then I see everything loud and clear. It's not that I wanted to wake up today and quit coffee. It was just the way that Spirit showed me everything and how I have everything stocked up and lined up to to be able to do that. Like, it's just like, I don't know, like I need to make a change. I've been doing a lot of things the same. And of course we change things all the time, right? But one of the big things that I wanted to change in my life was my coffee, because I really do want a more alkaline body. I really do. Like, I want it. I want it so bad, and I've been defeating myself the whole entire time. And so that's all it's really for, right? My friends have some cool mushroom coffee or whatever. I'm going to try that, of course, right? But, I share this kind of stuff with you. I know it sounds so silly, but to let you know that your stuff isn't silly. The things that you're going through in your heart, and the things that you're changing in your life, and the things that you're disconnecting from and reconnecting to and making new connections, none of the process is silly. none of what you're going through is silly. Like, all of it means so much in the grand scheme. Eternal love, Jesus. I love us too. Um, you know, we go through love wounds and then we come out and we talk about, when people are talking about love, people need other people, because just in simple little conversations, you can just create abundance like in that moment, right? And so, love wounds will have you talking about that you don't want love when you really do want love with your heart, right? It'll talk about, having all these people around you that you don't even trust, but meanwhile you're trying to create a life full of people that you can trust. You're trying to create this great love, but by your words are pushing it off. Your words are, you're creating best friends in your life, but your words are creating the reflections that you're getting back. You know what I mean? I've been able to like simplify and specify through the whole process. So like, please don't ever think that you're getting it wrong when things crumble down. When you're creating something and it's working, and then all of a sudden it's like not working anymore and it seems to all crumble down, don't worry about that, because what that's doing is that's like changing so you can have a stronger foundation to build to what you wanted, because you were kind of in the lane of what you thought you deserved, but what you wanted needed a stronger foundation. I'm in a really good place in my life, and for the past 3 months I have felt the lowest low, like all the way down to my knee pain came back, my back pain came back, everything. My energy levels, I was eating my superfoods, I was eating my food, and I was just like really going through it. And, it was a bunch of stuff coming up. I had cleared out so much stuff and I had done so much stuff, but, medical freedom, the right to choose what's going on with your body, that was coming up really big for me. And that's a love wound inside you. If for me to care about medical freedom and the medical freedom of mine and for others, that's from a love wound. Like my anger and getting mad about what is happening to my people, that's a love wound. And so like, if you're watching the news and some things are like affecting you worse than others, that's a deep love wound for you and your family. And I know it's hard to see it because you're like, that doesn't have anything to do with my family and like my beliefs. And then if you can really sit with yourself and go deeper and eat raw and get even deeper still, you're going to see that somewhere along the way in your lineage, that is a love wound for your family. So, speak what you want, man. Speak, I want love. I want a lover. Speak, I want my best friends. I want the best friends a girl could ever have. Speak, I want good quality time with me and my kids. Speak, all these things. Speak medical freedom into your life. Speak great friends and great trips into your life. Speak fun work into your life. Speak how your day would go if you could have fun work. Like if that's what I'm doing, guys. I'm creating my life, and you gotta speak about what you're trying to create. And so you want to, it's a process, because like you change vibrations, and so you get new people to start speaking these, like now before I met a friend, it took us a long time to dance around like creating, and like now I have friends that like we might only talk for like 5 minutes, but it's like straight creative, right? I had to speak that. I had to keep speaking that to myself. I had to keep speaking that to my sisters, anybody that came around me, my clients, right? Speak that you have a great team to work with. This division that's going on in society right now is making people like feel like they're wrong for wanting a team. No, that's a love wound. Figure out where that goes to. Speak smooth days. Speak, and that's the thing, is that I got so off and down about myself. And then, whenever I did the work to kind of get my elbows to like try to get back out of that place that I was, I realize how much my life has really changed in these years. I realize how much the work that I have done really does help in my life, right? And so, now I'm on the upswing of it right now, but that doesn't mean that I don't go low and I don't have to drag myself out by my elbows, right? And so, you guys, if you keep ignoring the loved ones that are coming up, they're gonna come in stronger. Hello, love. And it's crazy because, like, people say, oh, you say stronger. When it's the same love wound, different face, stronger than before. The way you guys message me and describe it, the way I describe it, the way I feel it, we know, right? We know. Hello, love. We know what our love wounds are. We know where they affect us and how they affect us. We know how we try to disassociate. We know how we try to forget about it. We know how we try to block it off. We know that we keep getting this same shit over and over and over again. And we know the pattern of saying, well, that's so-and-so's fault, or if it wasn't for so-and-so, then I would have had this different, or whatever. But we know that that's our lesson. And so, like, it's the simple thing of people are like, well, what do you do, Sarah? And I'm like, okay, here's this love wound, this shit going on in my face, and I'm just going to pull it up into me. This is my shit, and this is how close I'm going to be in it. I'm going to merge with this shit, and that is humility. When you can sit there and you can merge with your shit, your own shit inside of you, the things that you've been ignoring, the things that you've been running through, those are deep things. Like, only you know that moment, right? Then that humility does something for you right there, right? That humility to say, okay, like, I'm not perfect what I thought it was, right? Or where I was trying to go. I still have this going on in me. Even though I'm a teacher, even though I'm a body worker, even though this is my career, even though this is my life, this is still happening for me right now. So I know it's happening for everybody. So the humility is grabbing the doo-doo and pulling it on you, and like basically like giving yourself like a doo-doo bath with the doo-doo to cleanse yourself of the shame of it, right? And so vulnerability is whenever, you're not afraid to admit that you don't know everything. That maybe you're afraid to admit that you've been trying to alkalize your body for 15 years while you're drinking a whole entire field of coffee. A lot of us think we're going to get attacked or harmed physically or emotionally for speaking out about our loved ones. Yeah, there's actually like a study on it. And so that's what? Fear, right? So if you are vulnerable and you have this love wound going on and you want so bad to say something, right? You want to tell the truth and you want to do all of these things, but you're afraid that that other person is going to do this or that to you. That's a place where we tend to run from the love wound and just be like, fuck this, like, I'm not dealing with it, right? Or I'm going to deal with it how I think I should. There's a lot of people out here talking about healing. A lot. Cheers. I love it. I love to see it. I love to see it in everywhere that I'm seeing it. But I'm asking you all, please don't just talk about it. Please be about it. Please get you some friends that you can tell your doo-doo to. And that they will, like, it's like a constructive, they hold your heart. it's constructive conversation. It's not just like conversation like, oh girl, you never believe how they did me and da, 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 right? No, this is like, I want you to get people to talk about it with that are going to keep pushing you back into your heart to make the choices that you need to make with your own heart, with yourself and God. Like, you go into your heart, and that's where you make the choices in there about the love wounds that you've been experiencing. You know, it's funny because, like, I've been dealing with the same love wound for, like, I don't know how long, 22 years, and then the same love wound for 7 years and a different thing, and the same thing, 17 years and a different thing, and the same thing. So it's like, you know, there's all these levels of love wounds in us, and like the love wounds kind of like spin off. So like if you have one about this and then you cut that off, then you go to another person, then you have that same love wound with that other person. It's just at a different level of the love wound, right? And so guys, you have to go in and you have to sort that kind of stuff out with God. You know, that's the kind of stuff that, like, that's like the personal inventory. That's like when you go in there, you know, like I have a lot of gifts out here, but I can't like see that in you, your heart's desires. Like those heart's desires are like buried and covered, and occasionally I will meet people that I can like feel their heart's desires, and I can feel that they're like living it or trying to get there, and you can feel that it's happening. But most people have their heart's desires just completely blocked off. And then most people are trying to get into these relationships with these love wounds and change people's heart's desires. You can't do that. I just recently had somebody try to come in my life and change my heart's desires. Somebody that's been in my life switch up and try to change my heart's desires by talking a bunch of bullshit into my life. I let it happen. It was a lesson. You know, a lot of teachers are teaching healing. A lot of preachers are preaching healing. But what we need to make sure in our hearts is like, are their audio and video connecting? Are their audio and video matching up? Are they doing what they're telling you to do? Because like it's easy to like print out a sheet and say like, all right, let's do it. But like it's different when someone's actually like doing the healing work on the love wounds. Like you can feel different. Like the conversation feels different. It hits different, right? And so, you know, you have to use discernment in those spaces. So if you're going out here and you're getting healing work and you're working with people, you really have to use discernment on, does it seem like when you watch them or when you see them or when you're with them that their audio and video are lining up? And it'll be like a, you know, the vibration's just easy, where if it's not lining up, there's a kind of a fuzz. And in energy terms, that's the only way I know how to explain it. You know, I have been falling in love with my love wounds. I've been falling in love with the parts of me of why I thought nobody would ever want a me. Right? Does that make any sense? You know, and a lot of people that I talk to say, well, you know, Sarah, you had this or that. And, you know, I work out my love wounds all by myself. Let me just tell you guys that, like, later on in the journey, you get blessed with, like, a lot of great people and stuff. But when I was first, like, working out my shit, like, I didn't have anybody. I didn't have anybody to talk to about these love wounds that I began to notice in my life. I didn't have anybody that understood on an energetic term or, you know, something like that. I didn't have that in my life. And so, the alone time really helps you to like start to create what you're going to draw in. My friends told me some hard truths about who I was when I was in a particular doo-doo. I knew everything they said was truth. I love them for telling me they deserve better from me. No, girl. And like, that's the thing. When you're in the doo-doo, like, you're not like up. You're not up. You're not, you know, it's not this place where you're like, oh yeah, hey girl. Yeah, whatever. You know, when you're in the doo-doo, you know, you're just in there taking it. You're like in war zone. So, you know, don't blame yourself for being like hard on them. You know, and I'm sure that they only want what's best for you. And so, you know, when you're in the doo-doo, like I said, everything feels like attack. And then like when you start to come out of it, when you start to feel your way through it, then you start to know, like, okay, this is an attack. This is just like unconditional love, like coming through as truth. And it's a truth that I have not been wanting to become aware of because it hurts, because it's a love wound. And like, now I guess it's my time. And then, like, when you finally embrace that and take that and embrace it as your time to learn about this thing, then that's when you get to feel like the that's what it feels like. I mean, it just feels like there's like so much resistance, so much resistance, so much resistance, like you're sliding down a tube, and then just like they knew I knew. They held space. Absolutely. And that's all we can really do for people. Like, I've had girlfriends message me about things that they've been going through that are love wounds. And, I had to, sometimes I defended them, but most of the time what I try to do is just be a neutral for what they're talking about and just like see it from every angle, like know that they're a good person and they have all good intentions, but this too, is real. Like, this is another way to view it, to take responsibility for it in a way that doesn't seem so, I don't know, like making you do it, like in a way, like someone's not making you do it, like you're making that choice to do it. And a lot of times when you have love wounds, it's hard to trust people. And so that's why I tell everybody, especially the people that say that they're lonely, like, take your shit to God, man. Like, take your shit to God. Take it all to God, because the faster you do that, then the easier it gets to do with other people. The easier it is to deal with other people, the good and the bad, right? Or whatever we call it. We've all been wounded. And we're clearing that out so we can live in abundance. Like, I really, 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 truly believe in abundance. I really, truly believe that I'm creating abundance in my life, and it's just kind of like, as you work it and as you do it and all the different aspects, like the snowball gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you start to collect more of your heart's desire, so it gets fuller and fuller and fuller and fuller. And it's not like a stuff type full, it's an energy type full. So it's not like you're going to run out of room in this space. Like, you don't run out of room. There's enough for everybody. Like, it's good there, right? That's what I feel about it. A lot of people can't see their loved ones. And even though it keeps coming back and back and back and back and back, they still can't see it. Where do you feel abundance is lacking for you in your life? Like, where, if you can look back in your life and you could look right now where you're at and like where you've been, where do you feel like you've been lacking abundance? Is it in work? Is it in family? Is it in fun? Is it in finances? Is it in, whatever it is? If you feel a lack of abundance, that's like a sign that you have a loved one in that place, in whatever's going on, right? Guys, I love you because we're all connected. I really try to take like serious things. There's serious things going on right now on the planet. My work is deep, right? So I work with a lot of people. Like, right now, I have a lot of people who have cancer. That's another word I hate. I hate cancer, because, and that's why I've worked so hard to get my body to an alkaline state from an acidic state, because I learned that because of the cancer that runs in my body, right? And so it runs in my family, and I had a scare and like all kind of stuff. And so, in knowing the body and in knowing energy, the different areas that you can get the different cancers, that shows you the main chakra that is overly energized, right? And so then, from there you can kind of like roll out the patterns that these people will be in. And so, anything in your hips or down there, that's root chakra. Anything in your, reproduction, like womb space, that's sacral chakra. Anything in a little bit higher than that is solar plexus, heart chakra, throat chakra, third eye chakra, crown chakra. And, there's a bunch of things that you can do. There's a bunch of things you can do. So at the same time that I'm dealing with love wounds and life lessons and, my everyday moments as a mom and whatever, I'm also dealing with a lot of people that are going through a lot of things to the point where these cancers are in their bodies and, they're going to doctors and they're getting treatments. And then there's a lot going on right now. And so, one of the ways that you can, release energy before it gets to that place where you get that diagnosis of something so terrible, try to start releasing the energy from these love wounds like now. Try to like face a love wound. Like, all right, we have many, we come with many here. And it's like, or we get them when we get here or something, right? But we have a lot. And so, pick one, pick the smallest one. Like, you can just pick the smallest one and be like, all right, I'm gonna work on this. It might sound silly, it's not silly. Message me, I'll tell you it's not silly. Um, do that. Do that. We were talking today about some people that like really do intentionally go out here and try to put spells on you. And I just want like some natural like remedies. Like I don't 100% wholeheartedly agree that people could do that, but I do know that there are people that are very dedicated to, spell work, whether it be like in a nice way or in a bad way. I've learned about it personally, but the whole thing is those things do come in and cloud up your vibration, right? And so, I say all the time, like, thoughts shoot like rockets at people, right? And so, yeah, could somebody be like trying you, like, or whatever in a way like that? Yeah. And there are all kind of things out here that can like help you if you're feeling certain things. And it's like trusting what you're feeling and trusting and handling it in unconditional love and, all of these things. And so, you know, it's not going to be anybody else's fault if we get cancer from the emotions that are inside of us that we're not getting out. We can blame everybody that stressed us out our whole entire lives, or we can just say, I let that stress me out. Like your love wounds, like you have choices to make in these love wounds. Like, okay, am I going to repeat this same love wound, or am I going to make a choice to change this love wound? And, when you make a choice to change the love wound, it's hard. And I wouldn't be surprised if I didn't get to the end of this deeper in this coffee love. My coffee addiction is probably a love wound. It's an addiction. It's definitely an addiction. Like, I love the taste of it. It's black coffee, like espresso, and I love it. Like, I love it. I love it when I was at the beach. I was talking to my girl today, and I'm like, I'm planning a trip to the beach, and I'm gonna have to drink beet juice. Maybe I'll warm it up under the sun a little bit. Listen, guys, I love you because we're all connected. I know a lot of people are going through a lot of things in love wounding. I know that if you want to just be easy about it, put more raw green foods in your bodies. Kale, spinach, lettuce, green leeks, all that jazz. Turn on the frequencies. A lot of people's hearts have been wounded so bad that when you turn on the heart frequency, it's a little bit too much. And so I tell people, turn on the 528 to kind of like bump up against your heart. It feels nice. I just came to listen and feel your energy, but you gave me something to really ponder on concerning my family, loved ones. I have more work to do. I love you. We all do, girl. Me too. I do too. Trust me. And that's why I eat green food, and that's why I listen to the 528, and that's why I, try to have humility and vulnerability and be aware and make changes and do all these things. I mean, it's just like so much stuff to do. It's not just like a one move thing. It's a lot. You know, the love wounds are a lot. They're ancestral. They're way deeper than just your personal life. You know, that whole surface shit. You know, a lot of people are worried about the surface shit. You got to go underneath that. I know a lot of people hate that. But you do. You do. You really have to go under the surface of you. You really have to go deep into the love wound. You know, and you have to know that there are many, many, and they merge together and they feed each other and attract like minds. And there's a little fly here trying me, right? I love you guys. I really do. And I thank everybody, like the people that can reach out to me about their love wounds. Thank you. Shout out to you because it's been talking about my love wounds. It's really helping me heal and release and, organize it and just kind of like put it all together. So, for the people helping me work out my love wounds, thank you. It's all of you. It's it's the people that I talk to. It's the people that I interact with. It's the people that I meet and work with and everything. Love wounds are coming up everywhere. And they're all so different. But they're all so much the same. 528, eat greens. 528 and eat greens. If I can give you 2 free, powerful tools today, it'll be listen to the 528 and eat your greens. I'm telling you. You gotta love yourself. You gotta, eat green to get into your heart's desires. I eat green when I'm trying to connect with my heart. I eat green when I'm trying to feel in around the hurt in my heart. I wear green. I eat green. I try. I don't know. Some people say it's all in my mind. It might be. I might be creating it, right? I don't know. I love you because we're all connected. I hope everyone has a great day. What is it? Wednesday. Woo! It's been fun. I love it. I want to get to know you guys a lot better. I want to get to, I don't know, like I was thinking about trying to put together a place where we could have, healthy conversations about love wounds. Like have that space of people to just know you can trust because it's been a big part of my journey. Finding good people to talk to and good people to, fill you up when you're going through a love wound space and kind of just let you know you're all right and remind you that you're never by yourself, right? Even though it feels so lonely. I know, we all have it, man. I feel really lucky though, because what if we were born in a time where we didn't get to work out our love wounds? What if we were born in the time where we had to be quiet about our love wounds? We don't have to. Now we just have to strategically make sure we talk to the right people about our love wounds. Because if they're talking to the wrong people about your love wounds is not good. I have told people things about me that weren't for my, they were just acting like they were there for my best interest. And now they know a lot of stuff about me. But, that's a whole nother level to vulnerability because I'm like, well, hey, it's not a secret anymore. It's real. You know about it. Whatever. That's another part. There are layers to each love wound. I guarantee you that. And a lot of times, we're trained to say that our love wounds are silly. Like, oh, this is silly. Oh, I'm worried about this, and she's over there dealing with that. Like, no. You have to learn how to work on yours and you, and then you can be fully present. You can be working on yours and be fully holding space for someone else. I love you. I love you because we're all connected. I hope you guys have the sunshine out like me today. Getting ready to get my baby off the bus and go play a little bit before I gotta go to work. But I love you guys. I love you and I wish you well. And message me, you know, if you want to talk about love wounds, if you want to bring anything out, if you want to do a live video about it. You know, these live videos are really healing. And it's funny because, like, planning for a live video, you know, even that stuff has changed for me. Like, you know, I don't know. It's funny. It's just like I'm always testing the universe. I never thought I'd be testing the universe through live videos. Connections, you know, opportunities, unknown blessings. Become aware of your love wounds. Think about what you're talking about in your love wounds. You know, take your love wounds, like when you're in it, you know, a big part of it was like I had to learn how to keep my love wounds like to myself, and then like kind of get my own like foundation on like what I thought about it and then bring it out, because you know I was famous for like going through a love wound and reaching out, and I was in the wrong energy, and then I threw them all off, and all the shit was just off. There are no mistakes. Just focus on the things that come up for you. You know, when it's coming up for you, instead of blaming anybody else, if you like catch yourself about to blame somebody, or you know, call a name out or throw a judgment out, bring that name or that judgment back to you and see how you feel about that. All right, guys, I'm about to get off here. Love you, because we're all connected. One love. Mwah.